this lane is not going to be a whole lot of fun in the early stages. Of course, Kai'Sa Rakan, not the most powerful in itself, so might just be a bit of a wet noodle fight down there. Should get the Ezreal and the Alistar through it relatively well. A lot of very powerful picks on the side of KT, and taken. Peanut starts the grubs off as they spawn, but Cuz is going to be moving over here.
Zeus does have teleport, and of course Perfect does not. I don't know if he has any intention of joining this, but if they need his help and they want to fight for this, he absolutely can be there at a moment's notice.
Yep, and level 6s picked up by both of our mid laners as well. First grub does go down. Peanut should be able to grab the second one pretty comfortably as Delight's going to move over. There's the flash out as Peanut makes his way in. The Weaver's Wall does deliver Zeka to the area. Flash out from Peter as well as the seismic shove has to be avoided with a headbutt. And so Peter knows that he is just going to go down a little bit early there because I thought Peter could have headbutted his way out.
Yeah.
Might have had a few cooldown issues as he's just going to get on in here. Zeus in a bit of trouble. He's burning down, but the rest of HLE, they turn up immediately and it's a double kill for Viper.
A lot of wards up there. Hanwha Life did. They were like, all right, this is our moment, this is our angle, we're going to trap them here. They probably didn't necessarily expect they were going to full commit, but because they did, they get those kills, they get the dragon as well, plus the grubs.
Well, there's a double pulverize here from Peter, because if at first you don't succeed, you just go for it again. Cuz drives in, misses Delight on that one, and they look for Peanut. They are going to be able to pick him up there with the Impale. PDD comes in, the Sand Soldiers get the work done. And they are at least making some plays to try and get back. That's the proactivity that I think KT have been missing throughout the LCK Cup. As we check this one out one more time, look at this. The cavalry just immediately arrive.
Yeah, Delight hitting the big knock.
Yeah, toying with him here on the bottom side of the map. Cuz should be able to grab this, and he doesn't. It's Peanut, picks that one up for himself. That is going to be 5 grubs over to HLE. And of course, a singular Ocean Drake does not mean too much, but you're a very long way away from a soul, and you really do need to start bringing it to HLE as well, and not just relying on this potential wear scaling type situation. As Seismic Shove onto Peter, does have the Unbreakable Will. He does a lot of damage. As Doctor trying to offer what he can. Peanut throws down the ulti very early on here. They once again find themselves milling about, and the objective goes down. And now Zeus throws out the Shock Blast. Seismic Shove going to need to be avoided with a flash.
They ultimately did, and now BDD is in big danger.
He is. Seismic Shove is going to be avoided. The Emperor's Divide comes out but doesn't hit anyone, and Viper is extremely fed. Rift Herald coming into the mid lane here as well as Peter looks for the trample. Zeus in a little bit of trouble here, and he will be going down. Doctom getting his first kill of the game.
A little bit overzealous.
Neutral, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, BDD here just shoves a bit too early. Delight's second. Fantastic. A ton of damage onto this top inner as well. So lots of value here for Hanwha Life Esports. I don't think Zeus should have necessarily died there, but I don't think they feel too bad when they're going to grab this inner.
Well, at least Cuz is pretty tanky. He does throw Delight into the wall. Viper getting hit around, and that's going to stop him from just destroying this Scorpion.
He's away from falling over, and they got the inner.
Well, here is the Weaver's Wall. Doctom doesn't have a lot of mana, but he has enough to Arcane Shift and then does have to flash to avoid the size.
Yes.
Because they sound really similar. Speaking of Peanut, he's going to get pulverized by Peter. He looked for a little bit of an engage here. As you can see, Perfect does still have the Equalizer. They are in a choke point. Press the Equalizer. There it is. Emperor's Divide onto 2 and KT. They found a proactive play, but BDD is in the ground, and the Impale goes entirely wide. Viper now in the driver's seat in a lot of these instances, right? As Cuz going to make his way in, looking for Zeka here as the Weaver's Wall. Just going to get him out, and he'll be fine. Even able to grab himself a bloody petal on his way through. Peter going for some more plays. Peter and Peanut fighting once again, frustratingly enough, as the Flame Spitter will burn him down. Doctom have no right to go for, but the rest of HLE are just looking to destroy structures.
Yeah, I think
so. It will be the Otacon going down.
Yeah, the Otacon does go over, and a lot of petals are going to go over. They don't have
farming.
They don't have too many objectives to get buffed.
I mean,
with this.
Their team fight is absolutely terrifying, right? If KT can get to it. Speaking of which, Peanut considering a donation once again. True Shot Barrage sails over. The ultimate gonna have to be invested here by Peanut and the rest of KT. They think that's an invitation to get on in there.
I mean, your Xin Zhao, like this mid turret here, good zoning by KT. It's going to be a teleport from Zeus to try to save it.
Well, Weaver's Wall going to come in here from Zeka. That's going to split up the fight momentarily, but Perfect will be able to join the rest of his team. Another P name, really? Didn't even think about it. That gets hit by another skill shot.
I mean, they just keep focusing him specifically, and these shots keep landing. Great accuracy.
Oh, seismic shove connects onto Cuz, but
I think so.
Teleport is going to be towards this bottom lane.
So far away.
Rest of KT now in position to go for something. Weaver's Wall just to break this one up. Cuz not electing to go over it, but he can just move in if he wants to. It's going to be the steal from Cuz. And Peanut down pretty low now as well. Has to use another ultimate right at the last second. And is looking to possibly get out of the way as Cuz flashes in, misses another ulti, and Perfect says, my flamethrower requires no aiming. And in fact, KT, they require no aiming either. They got Doc Tom now. He's able to help grab another kill.
Should just be Baron for KT. That's the one team fight I was talking about. KT just need one fight, one moment. They can get right back into this game, and they got it. So many tools used for Hanwha Life is really starting to hit. I mean, he's on 3 items now.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall. They are looking for Perfect here as the seismic shove goes wide. Peter has found Peanut once again, though, as Cuz making his way and finds a rock onto Viper. Zeka is incredibly low as Doc Dom's looking for him into the backline. Goes to Light. He's almost just dead. It's a beautiful arcane shift, though. Doc Dom will get audaciously charged, does go down, but the Emperor is here and has done some division. It's just not quite enough, but they've taken down the Kaiser. BDD trying to kite, but he gets stunned up and will be taken down. Zeka
cannot win. Oh man, BDD's super upset with how
just
it went down.
In history, but also in this game. As Peter with a Mega Blast Cone looking for an angle. They do get on top of Peanut. As the Impale comes on through, it is going to be the soul lockdown for Peanut, finally finding himself a smite. As now Viper gets flashed on, immediately goes into that Zhonya's, but now he's out of position. The Pulverize is good. It is the mid laner going down for KT, but the rest of the team is fighting well. Flash comes out from Cuz, and Zeka is now the carry that HLE are going to be relying on. That and Zeus, who is raining these shock blasts down. Meanwhile, KT's base is also exploding. Another Zhonya is going to be utilized, this time by Perfect, who wants to try and kill Zeka, but it's not going to work. And HLE find themselves another fight and a soul off the back of it, as Doc Dom and Cuz licking their wounds, trying to keep their base alive.
Yeah, the top wave will naturally push, and they'll just demolish this turret instantly here. BDD up in 20. I don't think Hanwha Life are
on the cards. Is Doc Dom taking some more skill shots, as we can see. Peanut, though, goes in, gets on top of the Ezreal. Arcane Shift gets him out of there. The Weaver's Wall not quite doing enough here for HLE right now. Seismic Shove is good onto BDD, though, as Zeka has to flash to get out of the way of this equalizer. BDD's burning, and he does go down. Now Viper getting into the backline. I don't know about this one, but he's still able to get these autos off. Supercharger to make sure he's in the right position. Cuz is going to get eviscerated, and KT, that was their last breath, as HLE will now push in for the win.
Oh, BDD is not happy. They had such a good angle in this game. It all went wrong in the bottom lane, and Hanwha Life took it back. Viper with an incredible Kai'Sa game.
Oh yeah, got fed early, and it looked like KT had found an angle, and obviously they didn't, because the Nexus goes down. HLE.
This can be quite tricky to pilot into the Gwen with the kind of rework of the Gwen, where she's a lot stronger early. I do feel like it's going to take a lot of finesse, but if piloted correctly, you use your shield at the right time, and you dash into the circle, you've got a lot of ways to outplay the Gwen, and Zeus is obviously the more experienced top laner and has the more accolades, and most are
cheer for the start of this game. I was a little bit worried about him on the Gwen, but he's done a great job thus far.
Do have Peter.
Oh dear. Okay, handshake going to go straight through, as Peter does manage to snare them. And also the Blooming Burst doing some work there as Cuz is moving up. Bailout now down, but it's on to Viper, and that's going to mean that Delight has to flash, pounce forward. First blood for Cuz.
Cuz, the spear
accuracy. Used up all of his misses on his impales in the last game, okay?
That was really well played. Excellently baited as well.
Some needlework here towards the bottom side as the ulti to come out from Zeus. Let's see whether he can actually win this one, as the extra healing helping Perfect out. So a trade of ultimates, and now, okay, Zeus still wanting more. He's landing all these buttons. One more, and the flash forward's gonna...
well.
He just needed to flash earlier, right? And I think that's why he was frustrated, as he pressed the flash button anyway. Good handshake is going to come in onto Cuz, but BDD is turned up, and Delight is once again in trouble. Another kill comes forward, as that's the decoy that they're fighting for the moment, and KT Just going to be okay with this. Zeka with a buster shot now, built up for himself. Not going to connect those chains.
For Cuz on this Nidalee.
All right, Fate's Call comes down. Viper looking for it here as Peter gets rendered, but advantage. He just only extending. As okay, Arrow going to connect here onto Peanut. A Cyclone comes in and Cuz has to flash away the Pop Blossom. A little bit disjointed and Peter is going to be taken down. There's kill number 1 for Viper. Hostile takeover going to come on through and Cuz able to pounce over the wall. Doctor getting to relative safety.
Like,
and
maybe I get something on a Zeka. They end up getting the plate. They deny a cannon. Hold up. More in the mid lane.
Yeah, Zeka really wanted to find something. Buster shot going to be thrown out there as Cuz just decides he's pouncing on in. And Zeka had just teleported. And Spear going to be avoided nicely by Zeka, who clears out.
A bit of a late addition with Peter. Hasn't quite figured it out yet.
Is Doctor going to be okay?
He does not have ult. But he is Ash.
Moved quite slowly. And no flat. He's so dead. Like, we're all about the positives here. So we're going to have a look at it one more. Do we have to? Well, he hits every button, so nicely done, Zayas. He's like, yep.
Especially if they can snowball a fight with this Tristana.
Yep. Speaking of Tristana, BDD really making sure that he gets the cannon. You love to see that as, whoa, that was an arrow. Was that coming from Zeka, though? That's the question. And yes, it was.
Yeah.
So that's why he had to flash it. Man, that could have been really confusing because he's like, oh, but the Ashe is on my team, so I'll be fine. No, not fine. And thankfully, he's not as silly as I am. Needlework landing onto Zeka here on the top side of the map as there's a teleport in as well. Peter's moving over as there's another arrow and another mid laner using their flash. But can he avoid the rest of it? And the answer is yes. Still going to be this turret falling lower and lower. And remember, this is 5 grubs for KT. Doctor, once again in an awkward spot. Good sidesteps. He's still dead. As once again, Doctor out of position will get rendered down. This turret does fall, though.
Going to cost BDD some CS, some damage to this turret. They don't get the turret, but if they had stayed, Peanut just carries that as BDD. Whoa.
Oh, dear. Well, Peter is moving on up, finds a Pop Blossom.
There's an angle.
Yeah, Spear is going to connect gorgeously.
It might just be better off letting Perfect take a turret bottom side and giving this one.
Looks like that might be what they're trying to do as the teleport comes in from Zayas to put him in good position.
Yeah, you got a TP. Just let this one go.
There is a lot of just on-demand vision.
Just kind of stick around the Herald, but don't commit.
And now Delight finds himself in an awkward spot. Fate's Call has to be traded for the arrow. Good arrow that time from Doctarm. Fly over. I think Cuz getting the bad news here. Knows that he's not going to be able to get in. So that's some upgraded shoes here.
Some additional time.
Ooh, Arrow going to be flying into Delight here. Looking to try and get another Fate's Call. But that's on cooldown. So Delight is just dead. Peter's the one that actually picks up the kill. Setting themselves up. Zeka now with that explosive charge on him, but there's the public execution. Pop Blossom going to be used. And BDD trying to get himself over the wall. Buster shot to get rid of Zayas, and it's now a cacophony. But KT are winning it. There's the bailout, but it is not enough. And KT just put HLE in the ground. That's just how it goes. Teleporting into the mid lane here from BDD just to try and catch this wave. HLE unable to really find too many angles here, especially with these arrows flying in, the spears flying in as well. Cuz looking for another one. Zayas able to sidestep it.
I'm not really sold on Viper's build this game either, to be honest.
Oh, like the classic lethality.
Lethality Callista.
Gets a Cinder for the speed up as well. Remember, the public execution going to be such a big deal. And BDD already just jumping on in. That is going to be Peanut locking down the Drake. KT, though, they're looking for this Ambessa, who's just thrown around like a ragdoll. There's a Pop Blossom landing on a 2. Viper nailed by the arrow, and 3 are on the ground in an instant.
And the good news for Hanwha is you got the Dragon. The bad news is you got wiped again. And I think it was a great call by BDD to chase the Zayas on the flanking Zayas, chase the Ambessa there, deny his entry, keeps Duckdom super safe there in that situation. And that's a team fight win here with longer deaths, your respawn timers here, and a Gwen Tristana. They could just try to push to end. They've got enough minions here.
Oh,
it's gonna be a tough defense.
Okay, yeah, let's not get overly enthusiastic. There's a huge Pop Blossom from Zeka. It's just not enough to actually take anyone down. The first Nexus turret falls. Peanut using his decoy effectively.
Cleared out. They're playing super far forward here. Look at how blind Hanwha are, trying to find an angle.
Oh, well, Arrow's going to connect onto Cuz. They're going to blow him up or attempt to, but he goes golden. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to get out. The hostile takeover, it almost actually gets him out of there, but now the fight has been engaged. The Pop Blossom is decent, and now it's BDD looking for the resets. He locks down Zeka. He's already found Peanut, and Doctum goes down, but BDD is the one that means everything for KT. Perfect now has the matter in his own hands, but everyone's dashed flashing away, and HLE! Oh no, KT now left in the dust. That's the ace. And Viper, even though he is this weird lethality Callista, he's still lethal, ladies and gentlemen.
Bail
and they're
out.
gonna look to grab themselves the Baron.
Bailout, baby. There was never any doubt for Viper in that team fight. He cleans up house again. And I just thought this game wasn't winnable, to be honest. I wasn't hyped for KT. The composition, the game state, everything, but KT gave him the perfect opportunity, and Viper seizes those every single time.
Take my POMs, Viper. This guy, good, I guess.
It's not over, but now HLE have a Baron to work with. There's a ton of standing gold on the map for them to pick up. And this situation should have never happened.
Yep. Beautifully done. And now KT, they're back on the map. Of course, there's not a whole lot that was picked up outside of the Baron, as hostile takeover is not going to be enough to make sure that Delight survives. So that is going to put a dampener in this Baron. It is already under just the default gold that you get from killing it. And so KT still in the driver's seat. They still have a gold lead. And the arrow is going to sail through and lock down Doc Dom. Another defensive pop blossom. Peanut cannot do anything.
Can't get in there. Peter says no.
Like, everyone has to be in line, right? Like, everyone has to engage at the same time. Otherwise, it doesn't work for HLE, and then you just, all of this damage gets rained down on top of you. You can do nothing about it because you don't have the range. And KT, they're not letting the little ace get the better of them this time.
They don't engage. That's still a Callista on a dragon.
It's still going to be very hard to stay on this dragon, but they do so much damage to it because really going to have to try and land this spine. Remember, there's a rend. As okay, Pop Blossom stolen by Zeka, doesn't do too much, but they get the Infernal Soul still. Look at this damage. BDD with the Buster Shot saves his own life as Peter trying to get in there. One with the Pop Blossom, but it's not quite enough. Still BDD free hitting over the wall. It's a double for Perfect, who goes golden, and now Zeus gonna be taken down. BDD with the triumph, stays alive. This explodes. KT will have an opportunity to go to a game 3. That is likely happening, and in fact, it is. KT with their first win.
Synergy, obviously, with the Misfortune. If you can get people to group up with your big shockwave, then it could potentially set up a combo that way. They have a lot of really nice single target pick in this composition. I love Pantheon into Neferi because you can just simply shut her down. She only has one untargetable. She can only W once, and
so no bullet times over the wall or anything like that. So Cuz now moving in, gets stunned up, and my god, goes untargetable for now. Already, Delight taking a fair bit of damage, but Cuz is out of this fight as well. Peter, and they dive on top of Zeka. He's just completely left to the wolves, or to the dogs, or whatever they are. And now Perfect is moving forward. He's so strong, goes all out onto Peanut, but they're also targeting Delight as well. He's under 100, he knows that he's dead. As Zeus dives in, can he be the champion of HLE? And it looks like he may just be. BDD now just trying to kite him as best he can. It's not going to be enough, but Zeus now may have overextended. Perfect slows him down with a Q. Cuz wanting to get one, but he's obviously got that Counter-Strike back available again, so they're not killing Zeus.
Teleport committed.
That's going to be 3. Chains of Corruption comes down, though, and in goes Delight straight into the back of the pit. That's going to be Peanut evening out the grub count, and over the wall goes Doc Dom. Now Perfect looking for his opportunity. This could be massive for this Cassante, but Zeka takes his opportunity and just locks them down. Delight, he has the bleed on him, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough to kill him. It's close, but not enough.
And they have, once again, with BDD, Orianna ball control here in the choke. Does relinquish it, though.
Yeah. Cuz looking for a little bit of an engage opportunity. So is Peter. As the Glacial Prison goes wide, the Leona is going to go down. And now Peanut looking for more untargetable, though, is Cuz. Even though he is relatively low on health for this moment in time. 20 CS in the lead as the Cassante.
Peter? Okay, that was scary.
Yeah. Okay, as I was singing his praises, it's possible that Perfect is dead. He goes all out. Let's see whether he can get out, and he does. Turret shot taken by Zeus, but that, unfortunately, the teleport a little bit slow. Shockwave comes in, and that's not a Nocturne! That's an Neferi, and it still works!
Close enough. Also, Zeus dead, but 1,000 kills!
I love it when they come up right as they die. Oh, 1,000 kills. That is 5th.
The recall, which means they can't actually punish the initial
perfect
play.
He's a bit frustrated about dying earlier and manages to nail the Q this time around. Doesn't have all out, so I think Zeka is going to survive because, like, this guy just does not do that much. Oh, never mind. Maybe he does do the damage. Perfect's like, I'm tanky. Looking for the Q. Does not quite get it, but man.
Perfect. If you flash for that, you get him.
Peter can kill him. He's managing to land the solar flare, and he's looking to tank this one up. One more turret shot is almost enough to kill him because, man, you lose Eclipse and Aftershock, and you're taking a big chunk, but calculated.
And Perfect doesn't keep his flash. As Peanut looks like he's just barely going to miss.
Oh my God, are they both going to get out? Well, no, Perfect is not. He does have all out now. As the smite comes in, but the battling for these objectives, and another one is going to be taken here by KT.
No, that's not 100% necessary.
No, it's not what it's about. As now BDD could be in a little bit of trouble. Delight maybe going a little further than he needs to. BDD finding 2 with the shockwave, now trying to get out, but the counter-strike should stop him. Permafrost comes in, Peanut.
Just KT, they're pushing a little bit with the Cassante, but it just doesn't hit the same. They will be able to grab this Dragon, though, as Hanwha Life do relinquish control after that pick in the bottom lane.
Look at that.
You know, they got 2 kills on the Fury, maybe a third?
Well, Cuz is just going to dive forward. There is once again the combo, and Zeka realizes, okay, that's the world's shortest realm warp, but it's
great in the early game, but isn't going to be able to deal with them anymore.
Well, Peanut is going to get the Captain Jack out of Doctor. He has to flash to get out of the way of the Chains of Corruption, but he passes all of the tests. You love to see it. Cuz now bouncing on top of the Sejuani after throwing down this Rift Herald. Let's see whether they can get themselves a charge, because it was put down in a pretty awkward spot. Perfect in position, though. And now it's Peter. Has a bit of a charge opportunity. Breaks open the turret. And that is going to put KT within touching distance. Point, even though it's Chemtech, still going to be relevant. As dear, Peanut getting hit by the Zenith Blade. Another shockwave connecting onto 2 because going down so low, he's going to need to go untargetable soon. And he just isn't going to be able to. That is going to be the Rise picking up the kill. And now Counter-Strike right on top of Doctom. Zeus, do they have the CC for him? That's the question. The answer is absolutely not. Peter going to have to flash out of the way, and he does do so. But HLE demonstrating that, yeah, they're in a pretty good position this game. Now looking for an Otacon themselves. This could be the game broken open.
I thought I mentioned it earlier. You know, the Sejuani's not the one that the Fury normally wants to kill. Because did try his best, and Peanut survives. Jack's pushing mid at the same time. They have to go over and deal with the Rise. They barely defend the turret, but it means it's a free Dragon. Zeus wants more.
Oh dear. Doctom in a little bit of trouble here. Chains of Corruption go wide once again. Oh, it's a decent shield, but not quite enough. And Zeus, he doesn't even have to withdraw. Gold deficit, just sort of by blinking.
Yeah, watch this from Zeus. He knows he has the Otacon buff, so he doesn't care if he dies here. Gets on top of Doctom. There's a commitment here with the Pantheon as well to guarantee it, and then they just take out the turret, so he walks out scot-free.
Same time. And now he's looking to fight BDD. Let's see whether Peter and Cuz are going to be enough to stop this Jax from destroying them. The Youngblood comes in. Delight now finds himself in front of 3 people. BDD going to get stabbed as the Pantheon is going to go down, but he sacrifices himself for it. Sidestep there on the piercing arrow is good, as Cuz will find the gap close. And Viper with his Edge of Night is going to be able to stave that one off quite comfortably.
When Zeus isn't showing, you got to be scared.
Oh dear, Cuz down to half health immediately. Permafrost not going to be doing too much there as Doctom. Another Captain Jack, that's going to work out. Chains of Corruption again going wide. And Doctom actually some smooth footwork there as in goes Peter. I don't know about that, but still, they're going to force Zeus to use his Zhonya's one more time. Peanut going aggressive, but it's Peter that goes down. Zeus tries to dive in. This guy is immortal! As Perfect, he goes all out, and that should be able to get him. Never mind! He is actually impossible to kill as HLE are now underneath turrets. BDD had just respawned, it feels like, and is dead once again. That's an ace. And the first stand champs, I think, are looking to win their first series of the LCK 2025.
Man, what a game from Zeus on the Jax. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your greatest top laner of all time, and he's not done yet. He's got one more structure to kill, Atlas.
And it's a Leona. Oh, wait, no, the Nexus. That's what you were talking about. That is going to go